The land of Israel went through a very difficult season. Food became scarce, and many families struggled to survive. Among those families was a man named Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their two sons, Mahlon and Chilion. To escape the hunger, Elimelech moved his family from Bethlehem to a nearby country called Moab, hoping life would be better there. For a while, they lived peacefully in Moab, but then sadness entered their home. Elimelech, the father, died, leaving Naomi with her two sons. Later, the sons married Moabite women. One was named Orpah, and the other was Ruth. But after about 10 years in Moab, another great sorrow struck. Both Mahlon and Chilion died. Naomi was left alone, no husband, no sons, only her two daughters-in-law who had also lost their husbands. One day, Naomi heard that God had blessed Bethlehem again, and that food was now plentiful. She decided to return home. As she began her journey, Orpah and Ruth walked with her. But Naomi stopped and told them, "My daughters, go back home to your families. You've been kind to me, but I have nothing else to give you. I cannot provide new husbands for you. Stay in Moab and begin a new life." Orpah cried, hugged Naomi, and finally agreed to return to her family. But Ruth refused to leave. With tears in her eyes but strength in her voice, Ruth said words that would be remembered forever. "Do not ask me to leave you. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God." Naomi saw that Ruth was determined, so she said nothing more. Together they continued the journey back to Bethlehem. When they arrived, the whole town noticed them. The women were surprised and asked, "Is this Naomi?" But Naomi, still filled with sadness, replied, "Do not call me Naomi," which means pleasant. "Call me Mara," which means bitter, because the Almighty has dealt bitterly with me. Although Naomi felt empty, Ruth was by her side, ready to help. As the barley harvest season began, Ruth asked Naomi permission to go into the fields and gather leftover grain, something poor people were allowed to do. Naomi agreed. Ruth went to a field and followed behind the harvesters, picking up whatever grain was left on the ground. She worked quietly and humbly. She didn't know that the field she had entered belonged to a noble and respected man named Boaz, who was a relative of Naomi's late husband. Boaz arrived from the town and greeted his workers. Then he noticed a woman he hadn't seen before. "Who is that young woman?" he asked. The workers replied, "That is the Moabite woman who returned with Naomi. She has been working since morning without resting." Boaz walked up to Ruth and spoke kindly to her. "My daughter, stay in my field. Follow behind my workers and gather grain. I have told the young men not to bother you. When you are thirsty, drink from the water jars." Ruth bowed down with gratitude. "Why are you so kind to me? I'm a foreigner." Boaz answered, "People have told me everything you have done for Naomi, how you left your own family and country to take care of her. May the Lord reward you for your kindness." From that day, Boaz made sure Ruth was protected. He even instructed his workers to purposely drop extra grain so she could gather more. Ruth returned home with a huge bundle of barley. When Naomi saw it, she was amazed. "Where did you gather all this? May the man who helped you be blessed." Ruth told her about Boaz. Naomi's eyes lit up with hope for the first time in a long time. "Boaz is a close relative. He is one of our family's redeemers." A redeemer was a man who could help protect a family's name and property when they were in trouble. As the harvest continued, Ruth worked every day in Boaz's fields. Then Naomi guided Ruth to follow the customs of their people. She told Ruth to respectfully know she was willing for him to take the role of a redeemer. Ruth obeyed Naomi's instructions with purity and humility. When Boaz understood her request, he was honored. He said, "Everyone in town knows you are a virtuous woman. I am willing to help, but there is another man who is a closer relative than I am. If he refuses to redeem the family, then I will do it." The next day, Boaz met the man and the elders at the city gate. The closer relative refused the responsibility, so Boaz took the role. This made everything official and respected by the community. Soon after, Boaz married Ruth. God blessed their home, and they had a son named Obed. The women of Bethlehem rejoiced with Naomi. "Naomi, praise the Lord! Ruth loves you and has been better to you than 7 sons. This child will bring joy." Naomi held the baby with happiness she thought she would never feel again. Obed grew up and later became the father of Jesse, who became the father of King David. And many generations later, from this same family line, Jesus Christ was born. Ruth, a foreign woman who chose loyalty, kindness, and faith, became part of the greatest story ever told.